Good evening, everyone. It's your girl B. Dylan dropping in with a quick little cooking segment. And tonight I'm actually going to be doing a steak teriyaki. I've got my steak here setting at room temperature. It's been marinated overnight. We've seasoned it with some of my favorite seasoning blends, a little bit of cayenne pepper. I always throw that in. So I'm just going to go ahead and get to work on getting that steak ready, chopping up some of my vegetables to go ahead and put them into our stove and get our teriyaki on and popping. So the first step that I'm going to do is actually take the teriyaki over to the stove and make sure that we get that in here. So now we've got some organic olive oil that we're going to be using. And I'm just going to go ahead and drizzle that into the pan. Get that stove started and let that heat up for a second. So while that's heating up, I'm going to go ahead and take you back over here. Now I have my onion. Here. And I also have some mushrooms that I'm going to chop up. So I'm just going to go ahead and get started with that. Just going to place you guys here and let you get a good view of my cutting board. Here we go. And I don't want these to be too well diced, just because we're putting them in with the steak. Just gonna get nice slices like that. Here we go. We've actually got pretty good, decent slices here with the bigger pieces. And just slice the thicker ones that it didn't separate down. Here we are. Just cut that end off there. And just try and quickly get those separated. Oh, flying onion. Here we go. And I always recommend using white or yellow onion when cooking, as opposed to red, because red is usually better raw, served in something like a tuna fish sandwich or on a sub. And now we've got our little onion slices going here. I'm just going to keep these over to the side. And now we're going to go ahead and dip in. Now I wash these mushrooms and I let them dry a little bit. Dip into our mushrooms. Now before I do any of the cutting of that, I'm going to go ahead and put the steak in. So I will bring you along for that. Here we are. As you can see, that oil is nice and heated in that pan. And we're just going to add the steak at this time. Ooh, nice sizzle. And that is at a medium, so I'm going to go ahead and turn that down a little bit lower. And just bring out our fork and separate those pieces. So what you want to have happen is a nice browning. And these are already cut up into nice little strips. You just want to make sure that you get them all separated into that pan. That already is smelling really, really great. Whew. That's excellent. So I'm gonna go ahead and let that brown and bring you guys back over here with me. Grab a napkin and put that on. And I'm just gonna do a quick little hand wash because you never want to mix meat and veggies together. Make sure you use thumbs when you're washing your hands as well. Use your thumbs. Gosh, I can only hope this isn't focused. That meat smells really, really, really good. Okay, so here we go. We're gonna focus back in on the cutting board here. I'm just gonna swivel around to the side of the mushrooms. And once again, it's just a rough dice we're doing. Nothing too major. Just going right in there with the steak. Here we go. I'm not using too many mushrooms because, to be quite honest, I'm not really a big fan. But I'm giving the mushrooms a chance. That's also why I'm not cutting them up too small, because I want to be able to see them. But we are going to give the mushrooms a chance to have their moment. Just going to set that there. And bring you guys along with me over to the stove. Here we are. Just onions in there. There we go. And just mix that in with our steak, which is really browning very nicely in that oil. It smells oh so good. Put this in the wash. Then I'm going to grab one more ingredient that I think is just going to make this pop. So that is our roasted red peppers. So let's go ahead and put these in. And then we're just going to go ahead and blend. Just let those vegetables go ahead and that aroma just make its way up to us. And then I'm going to grab our lid. Here we are. And cap it off. And I'm just going to let that sit for about 5 minutes, keeping an eye on it. The steaks are really browning. If you like your steak a little more well done, you can let that go for a little bit longer. But I do like my steak to about medium. So we're just going to let that simmer under the lid so that those onions and those mushrooms really get a chance to go ahead and cook down in those juices and cook up. Back with the final portion of my little cooking segment here. And I'm just going to bring you on over to the stove and show you guys how it's going. Ooh, that smoke though. There we go. Our steak and our onions have cooked up quite well. Now, I'm not gonna lie, there was a bit of a snafu, and your girl forgot to get the white rice, so I ended up having to go with the Uncle Ben's brown, but whatever, no judgment. So let's go ahead and plate on up here. Just going to bring you guys back over to our little setup here. I'm just gonna do some rice. Nice bed of rice down there like that. This pan over here. And scoop out this tasty steak and onions. Oh, and those mushrooms actually cooked up really well, I can tell. Then we're just gonna do the quick taste test. Cuts right through. Okay. I'm digging it. That steak is actually really good. That marinade is hit. What I'm scared of is this. It's that mushroom. But we gonna do it. Y'all, I don't know if it's because it's in that marinade and it's working with these onions and everything, but that was actually really good. I'm impressed. I'm happy. So thank you guys for sticking with me through my little cooking segment. Hopefully I'll be bringing you more like this in the future. Until then, enjoy. Thanks for caring.